Hello, my name is Dr. Appel from Ado Psychology Center, where we specialize in treating anxiety, depression, and OCD. Welcome to our video seminar series. Hope you enjoy this video. This video is on relationship stress and anxiety during the first year of marriage. So the goals for this video are to discuss common stressors during the first year of marriage and what to do about them. Common stressors include doubting whether you made the right decision, comparing to other couples, differing expectations coming from different homes, personality differences, if one partner is more sensitive to criticism than another partner, arguments regarding chores, not feeling understood by your partner, and differences in how much time you want to spend with each other. So on the next couple of slides, we'll get into more detail for each of these, as well as some solutions for each of these stressors. Doubting whether you made the right decision. So as I mentioned before, this is a very common one where after or during your first year of marriage already, and the going gets rough sometimes, and you're like, wait a second, did I make the right decision? So soon we'll talk about how to deal with this question, but this obviously can be a very distressing thought given that marriage is often thought of as a lifelong decision. Comparing to other couples, especially if your friends are also newly married and you're comparing to how their relationship is versus how your relationship is, that can also be a big stressor. Differing expectations coming from different homes. You and your partner are coming from different backgrounds, and so each of you has different expectations as to what role each of you play, how the house should be run in general, how much time to be spending with each other, what types of things to collaborate on, what types of things to make your own decisions about. Personality differences, especially if you have someone who's more of a type A personality and someone more of a type B personality. And so one person may be more laid back and relaxed, and it's really getting on the other partner's nerves that you're so like just laid back and relaxed and not taking care of things. And the other partner, who's more type A, can be really on top of everything, and that can get on your nerves, feeling like, I can't just chill in my own house. I can't just enjoy myself. And, they're constantly bothering me with tasks and things that need to get done. So, personality differences, even though when you're dating, sometimes they don't come out as strong, or you're blinded by infatuation or whatever else might be going on. Then, and also you're not living together necessarily, and that could be a difference too. Once you're spending more time with someone, personality differences can become a bigger issue than prior to marriage. This is similar to the last one, but again, sometimes one person may be more sensitive to criticism than another person. And maybe in the home that you were raised in, people were less sensitive to criticism and more open to feedback and things like that, whereas your partner may not be used to it, and that can be a big stressor as well for them to hear it and for you to not be able to say what you're thinking because you don't want to hurt them. Arguments regarding chores. This is a very, very common one where people start arguing as to whose job it is to wash the dishes, take out the garbage, do the laundry, clean the house. And so this can be a major stressor as well during your first year that you're living together or first year of marriage, where you're now sharing a living space and you have to divide up the chores. And this can be an ongoing stressor that can cause a lot of issues with a seemingly simple solution, which we'll talk about soon. Not feeling understood by your partner. This can also feel like really, really bad where you're explaining to your partner how you're feeling and you're just not being heard. You're not feeling as if you're being heard by them. And the one thing people want is like human beings who need social connection and to feel like they're part of a group or to feel connected with others is to feel like even if we disagree, at least I want to feel that you know what I'm saying, you understand me, you get me, you feel me, and then we could disagree. But feeling like you're not being understood at all by your partner can be very distressing. Differences in how much time you want to spend with each other. One partner might want to spend a ton of time, and the other person is interested in doing things on their own as well. And that can be very distressing for both, as you can imagine. The one that feels like they want to spend more time and they're not getting their needs met, and the other one feeling bad for not spending more time or for spending more time, but feeling like it's too much and too overwhelming and they just need some space for themselves. So fortunately, for each of these problems, there are also some solutions. As you can see here, there's a list of solutions, which we'll go through one by one, including setting expectations, allowing doubts, not comparing to others, learning how to criticize at a better time and how to criticize if need be, or give constructive feedback, not fixing all the issues in the moment of the trigger, especially at night when you're tired and you just want to go to sleep, finding solutions for extreme personality differences, validation, learning how to validate, and patience. So let's get into each of these in more detail now. Set expectations for the first year to be the most challenging. Yes, sometimes you're lucky enough that the first year is the honeymoon year-long experience where everything is just terrific and amazing. But plenty of times it's actually the hardest year because that's when both of you are learning how to get along with each other and there are new obstacles coming up and you are, sharing a living space with each other and you're coming from two different families and still kind of connected to your families, but also trying to build a life for your own. So, step number one is set expectations where they should be, which is the first year of marriage shouldn't be the best year of marriage. It should only grow from there. The first year of marriage, you can expect for it to be challenging. And that's very helpful as well because people oftentimes have the opposite idea, which just creates immense pressure and makes things worse. I often tell my clients that for many people, their wedding day is the worst day of their life. And the reason is because there's so much pressure about everything going perfectly, and so much money is being spent, and so much time and energy that the expectations are so high, they're setting themselves up for failure. Very similar concept to this, which is the first year of marriage. Don't expect it to be great. Expect it to be challenging and work on it. And eventually you'll be building something that will become greater and greater as years go on. Allow doubting about your decision. How could you not? You just made a decision that affects the rest of your life. If you're a thinking human being, you likely will have doubts and say, wait a second, was this the right decision? Are there other people that would be better for me? And it's normal to have some doubts and allow them to be there without needing to solve them. You not allowing to have any doubts just makes those doubts even stronger and more distressing and feeling like, like you're stuck. At the same time, you don't want to ruminate. So you want to allow the doubts to be there, but you don't want to purposely think about the doubts again and again and again because it's not going to serve any purpose and it's just bringing you down. But allowing doubts to be there is fine. This relates to the idea of healthy aggression, which I spoke about in some of my OCD videos, a psychodynamic term with this idea that yes, we do doubt sometimes. We do have, intrusive thoughts. We do have like thoughts that we don't want to share with other people. And all that's part of the human experience and it's fine. And if we make space for it, we don't have unrealistic standards for the doubts that we're allowed to have and not allowed to have, or the thoughts that we're allowed to, experience versus not. If you don't make a big deal about it, it's not a big deal at all. It's part of the human experience. Problems start when you feel like it's an inappropriate thought. You should not be having any doubts, and then that's where the issues begin. Can't compare to other people. I didn't say don't compare to other people because then you might tell me, like, okay, I know I shouldn't. So you're just telling me not to do it? Okay, great. But I'm telling you can't compare to other people. What I mean by that is everyone is so different. So if you see another couple, doesn't mean that if you were with that other partner that you're seeing in the other couple, that you would have that great relationship that they're having because you're different than them. The combination of you and them is different. And so it doesn't make sense to compare to other people because we all come from such different home environments. We have different genes, we have different environments, we're different people. So how can you compare to another couple or another person and say, why is my situation not like theirs? Instead, identify what's not great in your situation and either make space for it and leave it unresolved, which is often very helpful, especially when we're talking about OCD type of thinking, or come up with solutions. But comparing is never a good thing, especially when you're comparing to people on like social media where people are posting their best selves, or when people are going out with their partner and they look so happy, and but you don't know what's going on behind closed doors either. And so you're comparing your worst self probably to their best self. So the comparison, is not even accurate to begin with. But that's the piece of advice here, which is don't compare, and you really can compare because it's so different. Don't criticize in the moment. Wait for the next day. So if, let's say, your partner says a comment to you that you find was insensitive, and maybe they were just making a joke. If you criticize or let them know in the moment, then chances are they may take it as an attack on them, as criticism, and then they might bite back. Instead, bite your tongue, write it down somewhere, and the next day you tell them, by the way, yesterday when you said that, I found that kind of hurtful. And then they'll be more open to understanding and listening and improving. So in general, it's probably best to not criticize in the moment. And if you feel like it's something that you want to be addressed, address it, but do it the next day. Don't need to fix all issues at night before bed. This is a common one when people say, like, you should never go to bed angry at your partner or whatever. If there's a quick fix, then great, why not? It's better to go to bed when you're all good. But many times the nighttime is a very stressful time for people. They're tired, their bodies are stressed, and trying to fix a problem when it's not the right moment can just exacerbate it. So sometimes it's okay to go to bed, not in a great space. Maybe both of you can even agree, like, all right, let's just go to bed and let's talk about it tomorrow. And then when tomorrow morning comes around, you look at your partner looks at you, and you're like, what were we even arguing about last night? Or there actually is something going on still, and you could address it the next day, the next morning. But that's a better way of going about it than feeling this pressure to never go to bed angry or to always resolve everything before going to bed, which is not realistic and can just exacerbate the issue sometimes. Find solutions for extreme personality differences like type A and type B. So if you guys have very different personality styles and it's really causing, issues, you want to address it, but you want to find like permanent type solutions. So I'll give you some examples. Let's say someone is very like laid back, relaxed, or a procrastinator, and their partner is very on top of things, doesn't procrastinate at all. So one solution would be where when the, I guess, type A person, we can call them, has chores or tasks or things that they want to remind you to do, instead of reminding you all day and you just can't take it anymore, let them write it down on a list, in an email, and once a day or once a week, send it off to you so that they can experience in the moment some level of relief knowing that they wrote it down somewhere and that they're not going to forget. And you don't have to hear about it all day long. And vice versa. If you're very laid back and it's bothering your partner because they feel like when they ask you questions, they never get clear answers, then find a solution where you communicate more clearly. Or where maybe you have a deal that if there's a request that takes less than 2 minutes to resolve, just do it in the moment instead of procrastinating. But in general, you could figure out what the personality differences are and what the issues are, but these can be ongoing stressors. And instead of having it as an ongoing stressor, have a conversation, try to come up with permanent type solutions and implement them. Knowing that no one's going to be perfect, they'll cut everyone some slack, but overall, you'll be in a much better place that way. Validation. Validation is a whole topic onto itself, and I plan on doing another video just on this topic of validation. But in short, validation refers to conveying to the other person that you get them. You hear what they're saying, given their perspective, it makes sense what they're saying. It doesn't mean that you have to agree with it per se, but you're not telling them, it's the opposite of saying, like, I don't know what you're talking about, you're crazy. Validation is saying, I get you, it makes sense from your perspective, I totally understand, and you can either agree or disagree. But that's what validation is all about. So when one person, in the couple doesn't feel understood, for example, it's usually because the other partner is not great at validating. So again, you don't have to agree with everything your partner says, but you should be validating your partner. I'll give you a very, brief example. Someone, let's say, comes home late and their partner says, "Why are you home so late? Why don't you text me?" So in the moment, first validate and say, you must be have been so nervous as to why I wasn't home. and I'm sorry for that. Or maybe, you could even take it one step further and say, and if only I just send you one little text, which would take me only 2 seconds, you would have at least known I'm okay and that I'm on my way. So now the person feels heard. Okay, you got my issue. After that, you can say, by the way, I had a flat tire and my phone was out of battery. So that happens to be why I was late and why I couldn't text you. But I totally get where you're coming from. So again, you don't have to fight, you don't have to argue. You could first validate, get where the other person's coming from, make them feel heard and understood. And you can also still explain what happened or your side of things as well. And last but not least, patience. When it comes to relationships, it is often very complicated and so many different factors going on. Everyone's coming with their own baggage and the combined baggage and stressors, especially early in life. There are a lot of stressors, financial stressors. People are figuring out their careers. And so patience is key. And feeling a full sense of urgency, like we got to fix everything right now, again, just increases pressure and exacerbates things. So patience is a very good skill in life in general, and it definitely applies here as well. So in summary, first year of marriage, most challenging year. That should be your expectation. Identify the core issues, develop and implement solutions, as we've discussed today, and patience. Give it time, it's not going to happen overnight. And of course, the therapist can always help you tailor your treatment for your specific needs and, can be there as a source of support, but and also as a source of um, guidance sometimes as to what might be the best techniques for the different situations that you are uniquely experiencing. Hope you enjoyed this video seminar. To see a full list of our current videos as well as upcoming videos that we'll be posting soon, visit us at adopsychologycenter.com and sign up to be notified when we post new videos. Bye for now.